which we say traditionally every day during this month of Elul, preceding Rosh Hashanah. Page 358.
שאלתי מאת אדוני אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני אותה אבקש. שבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו.
We turn back to page 2. We invite Julie Arnheim to the bima to light Shabbat candles on page 2. Just don't try to blow up the match with your match. I do that all the time.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'shalom, v'chad l'zmer shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Continue now, page 24, Julie. Page 24. Shalom Aleichem, and we welcome in the Shabbat messengers of peace. Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turn back to page 12 for Psalm 95, the beginning of the Psalm Lechu Neranana for Kabbalat Shabbat.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, l'tzur yishenu, l'kadma fanav b'todah. Naria, naria, l'tzur yishenu, b'zmirot rialo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai.
On the next page, on page 13, from Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai. Shir Chadash.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
We turn to page 20, Lecha Dodi. We'll sing paragraphs 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to the last paragraph, we'll rise and turn to the door as if to greet the Shabbat presence.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi'anu, el hameuchad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, shemu tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor, averacha mirosh mikedem nisucha sofa sebem machshavatila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Itorri kiva orech, umiori uri shir daberi devar Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Voi v'shalom atarat balagam b'simcha, uve'tzohala toch emunei am segula. Voi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
So since we're standing, we welcome Shabbat in all different kinds of ways. Please take a moment to wish one another Shabbat Shalom. I know for sure there's people that you don't know in this room, for sure. We'll continue with the Psalm for Shabbat on page 22. This is Psalm 92, the top of the psalm.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך רונן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, ועוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Make our distinction between Kabbalat Shabbat and the rest of the evening service on page 26 with Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ילמד יברכתי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעד ועלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה. ברכו לאל מברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise and bow to your spirit for Baruch, page 28.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et kochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shmo. Achai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו
May be seated. Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטלטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Talking to someone this week who asked me if we could do Ve'ahavta in English. And normally, so you know that it's not our tradition to do things both in Hebrew and in English. It's like that's from the Redundancy Department of Redundancy. But we would like to do it tonight. I'm thinking about how this is a time of year when we think about our childhoods. Maybe we think about past holidays where we've been. And so we're going to do Ve'ahavta in English as a way that maybe you did it when you were younger, but a little bit different because we're a little bit different now. So on page 37, it's a more of an interpretive version. So we'll do together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. And we turn ahead to Mi Chamocha on page 40.
Adonai
as we ask God to spread over us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace as the night is falling, feeling particularly vulnerable or afraid or alone. We think especially of those members of our community, our family, our friends who are in need of healing of body, healing of spirit, and we ask God to spread extra shelter over them. Tonight we hold in our hearts Dale Anderson, Julie Arnheim, James Barrett, Michael Baseman, Batya Bat Yosefa Vishimon, Alex Botkin, Jennifer Burnau, Dina Damas, Joanne DeWitt, Ann Fay, Ken Franklin, Virginia Frank, Ari Gegel, David Glazer, Aryaman Harlalka, David Mordechai HaKohen, Naum Kaplan, Sylvia Kasparowski, Al Camper, Todd Cart, Lee Kramer, Isabel Leindecker, Ruth Leff, Susan Lother, Hinda Sarabat Chana Pearl, Joanne Mandel, Beatrice Jean B.G. Morrison, Marco Maxera, Joanne Newman, Lev Podorovsky, Jonathan Robeson, Jason Roney, Oliver Scheibel, Bill Stein, Jackie Student, Drew Tomasi, Helen Marie Tyree, David Wallach, Alan Wolk. Other names for Misha Barak tonight? Misha Barak.
Jonah Ben, Leora.
We ask God to send complete healing to all those who are sick.
Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael.
And on the top of page 44, we continue with Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו
turn now to the Tefila. The opening meditation is on page 46. Please rise and body your spirit as you are able.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha.
You may be seated. On page 55, at the top of the page, we read together, "May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat." And on page 57, "You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levavdecha b'yirah na'avod." And on the top of page 59 together, "God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ucha na'eh lehodot. And a prayer for peace together at the top of page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in your soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Continue now with our own silent prayer.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen.
Few thoughts as we approach Rosh Hashanah from this week's Torah portion, which is Nitzavim. Nitzavim from the book of Deuteronomy, coming towards the end. It's always read on this Shabbat, the one immediately preceding Rosh Hashanah. The wise sages who carefully calibrated the calendar fixed it, so we would always hear these words to prime us for the new year. Here's a taste of it. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I've put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life, that you and your descendants may live. That's from chapter 30 of Deuteronomy. I know you recognize those words. If you don't remember them from the weekly Torah cycle, you will probably remember that we also, in many Reformed congregations, do it on Yom Kippur morning. Message is timely whenever we hear it, every year. I remember that on September 11th in 2001, that was the week of Nitzavim, and I remember feeling overwhelmed that while some in our world were actively engaged in terror and death, Jewish tradition was calling us to choose blessing, to choose life. Moses makes it clear that he is speaking across the generations addressing every single individual, from the leaders to the wood choppers, all genders, all ages, and even those who are not yet present, to hear him. In this way, Moses calls us too to do tshuva, to return to God, to hear that message, to choose blessing, to choose life. Moses' speech counters every objection to change that we might have. We might say, it's too hard, it's too far away, I'm not up to the task. No, God insists, you are all capable of this change of heart. Surely this teaching which I enjoin you upon this day is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart to us, that we may do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us, that we may do it? No, the thing is very close to you, in your own mouth and in your own heart, that you may do it. See, I set before you this day life and goodness, and death and evil. And no one, it's interesting, regardless of what they've done, has strayed too far, because Moses also says, even if you are scattered at the ends of the world, from there God will gather you and bring you back. So physical distance, but maybe also a spiritual distance as well. A Reconstructionist rabbi named Jonathan Klieger wrote this about it, and I really like this. He says, we have a noble task to perform, to expand our sense of the possible. We are to do tshuva, we are to do repentance, and align our beliefs about ourselves with our true and magnificent potential. We are to choose life and aliveness, so that, as Moses says, we and our descendants may live long upon the earth that the Creator has granted to us. It's kind of like the whole message of the high holidays in a nutshell. We choose life and blessing, and if we're not going in that direction, turn to go in that direction. Mary Oliver, you've heard me read from her poems before. She's a contemporary poet who died a few years ago. At the end of her poem, The Summer Day, she asked this question. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? The question pairs beautifully with Nitzavim, and there are so many things that I love about it that I think are perfect for this time of year. I love its boldness. What do you plan to do with your wild and precious life? And she calls our lives wild and precious. How many times do we think about our lives that way? And what if we thought about our lives that way more often? And I especially love that she uses the word plan. What is it you plan to do? What do we plan to do with our lives? We are well aware that we cannot plan everything. It's not worth talking about all the things that can happen. We're just coming out of COVID, for heaven's sake. So we know that we can't predict. We know that we can't plan for everything. We're also aware, and the high holidays are here to remind us, that we can definitely plan, and we can dream, and we can pray about the changes we would like to and are entirely capable of making in our one wild and precious life. And when things don't work out the way we have planned, we can plan how we will respond. Pivot, and there's that terrible word, but it's true, and grow despite the circumstances. And then one last thought. The portion begins with a call to all of us, kulchem, atem nitzavim kulchem, all of you who are standing there. And it goes on to list all the people included in everyone, just to make sure we don't exclude ourselves or someone else. But another interpretation of kulchem could be, in a midrashic, playful way, all of you, as in your full self. So God's calling us in our full selves, not just all of us, but all of us to be fully present. As we approach Rosh Hashanah, may each one of us, every one of us, put our whole and full selves into this work of tshuva, of returning to our best selves, so that we can live our best, wild, and precious life. and our world can return to wholeness as well. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to page 282 and rise as you're able for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שאמונות השמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגפי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו עינות, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום וידעת היום, השבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינות, ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Kaddish is on page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and all those whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us within the last 30 days of the Shloshim period: Jane Arcus, Rabbi Eugene Levy, May Ann Linden, James Wallace, Barbara Weiss. We also remember those whose yahrzeit fall at this time, whose yahrzeit we're observing this Shabbat: Millicent Beldner, Anne C. Fellman, Robert M. Frankel, Jack Freiberg, Earl Latterman, Ida Leibovitz, Joel Leskold, Joseph Millen, Dr. Richard E. Raisman, Edith Manning Shimkin, Marilyn Stein, Regina A. Stern, Helen Weiner. Are there any other names for Kaddish tonight? Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. B'galau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach olam omei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasa. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudashah b'irchu. Leila min kol berachata v'shirata. Tishbachata v'nechamata, Tamiran v'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Just a couple of announcements before we conclude our service with Adon Olam and Kiddush Ed Motzi. Rosh Hashanah is Sunday night. Erev Rosh Hashanah service begins at 7 o'clock. Everyone is welcome. You do not need a ticket. You don't have to show anything. You can just come in. But they are asking people to register. They're just strongly encouraging you to register through our website, which is rschighholydays.org. Everything is on that website that I'm about to tell you. But just a couple of highlights. We are having a little reception prior to Erev Rosh Hashanah. Everyone's welcome to come at 6 o'clock for a little dessert before services. It seems early to me to be having dessert at 6 o'clock, but if services start at 7, that's what we're going to do. And this year we're going to be observing the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Services are at 10 on Tuesday as well as on Monday. On Monday we'll be in here, and Tuesday we'll be in the chapel. You'll also be able to watch online in YouTube, Facebook, and all the links are on our website. There's parking, there's a map on the website. Childcare is available, and we are doing a High Holy Day food drive as we always do. There are bags if you'd like to use a bag in the lobby area, the commons area, to put some food in there. Also, you can participate online with cash, which is actually a really good way for the food pantry to be able to buy a lot more food. But sometimes people like to bring it in person. So I'd like to thank Luke up there for making us be able to be seen and heard. Thank you to Luke. Thank you to Don. Thank you to Cantor Berman.
Thank you. Did you want to mention Tashlich?
Oh, yes, I do want to mention Tashlich.
I told somebody about it today.
Okay. So wait, before I mention Tashlich, but remind me again.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome back Rabbi Dr. Danny Schiff. Welcome back from Israel. Nice to see you. And our cantor for the High Holidays is Rabbi Cantor, Gershon Sillens. Everyone has double duty here. This is Gershon Sillens. He's going to be with us for the High Holidays this year. Tashlich, our Tashlich this year is called Reverse Tashlich. It's it's started by Eddie Rosenthal, who Danny might remember from our HUC years. So it's an effort to clean up the waterways and to think about it in terms of, we usually throw our sins into the water, but it's very clear how dirty our water is from all of the other ways that we've been sinning. We've been not treating our earth carefully. And so we're going to be participating in a project called Reverse Tashlich, and we'll be in Frick Park. And there's information about that on the website. That's going to be on October 2nd in the afternoon. And it should be really nice. Because even if you don't want to go in the water and clean up, there's plenty of litter along the pathways. So we'll do a little singing, a little prayers, and then we'll go off to clean up the park. Thank you for reminding me. Everyone's welcome to Tashlich. You might need shoes that are waterproof. All right, Adon Olam, page 321.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir divra v'et nafsa v'nefso kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kimlot hakol levodo imloch nora ve'hu
there's also snacks in the courtyard for Oneg, immediately following services. Page 5 for Kiddush.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon l'inchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefila l'mikrahei kodesh, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו ובחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. חיים.
L'chaim. All right, just drop the knife on the ground. Should I do?
Rip it, but not good.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
I'm going to suggest you rip your own piece. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You could take the knife.